This is not with the other side nursery. Today we will be repotting a cane begonia. So I have over here a very overgrown begonia brevirimosa. It is way too big for the pot that it is in. This is a 4-inch pot. We will be repotting into about a 5.5 to 6-inch pot over here. With all plants, just make sure that you don't over pot it just because it'll hold too much water for the plant to be able to utilize. And over potting would be anything larger than increasing it by 4 inches or so. So, well, 2 inches on either side. So in case you have a 4-inch pot, you don't want to go with any more than 8 inches. Let me bring out my ruler. So 4-inch pot, 8 inches would be like that. So you don't want to go any bigger than something like that. You can go smaller. Like a little bit of an increase is fine, but keep in mind, don't go with anything larger than adding 4 inches to it. So either way, so what I would be repotting it with would be standard potting soil mixed with some perlite. So with begonias and many plants, they like soil that can have water just pass right through it while keeping the moisture. What that means is having standard potting, a lot of standard potting soil will hold a lot of water and nutrients and stuff like that, but just adding a bit of perlite or pumice into it will help out with the drainage a lot. So my goal is generally like half-half, maybe a little bit more potting soil than the perlite itself. I don't really actually measure, I just go based on how things look in the end. So this is kind of what I like to go with. See how you can see a lot of perlite there. Yeah, so I guess I'll stand up for this. Pardon me if you don't see my face, but that's all right. So what you want to start off with is making sure that the plant itself is fairly well watered. Not soaking wet, but I did water this last night, so it's fairly moist. You just don't want to do it with dry roots. I guess I should have had, I'll do it in here for now. So you want to start by just kind of teasing the roots out a little bit. You don't have to break the entire root ball, but you just want to make sure that the root gets a chance to reset itself so that it's kind of poking outward instead of just wrapping around the pot. So with begonias, their root system is not really that intensive. It's not really that thick, so you don't want to do too much to it. This is pretty much what I would leave it at. Just kind of a lot of the roots just kind of poking out everywhere. It'll find its own new direction to face. So as you can see, nothing too dramatic there. Let me just toss out some of the old soil. All right, so let me just kind of put this back in there for now. Whoa. All right, so first whatever step we're on now, I would fill this up a little bit with the soil. Right now the soil is about here, so I'm gonna hold the plant in there. Right now it's gonna be a little bit too deep down into the pot, so I'll just add a little bit more. And keep in mind, the soil will sink when you water it. So you can push it down a little bit. Don't shove all the way in because you don't want the soil to compact either. All right, so now that's a pretty good mark for it. Yeah, like half an inch or so down. Make sure you don't cover too much of the crown or anything like that, because that's how you get crown rot or stem rot or any kind of other rot. So yeah, now I'll just kind of fill actually a little bit more soil. So let me just get a little bit more. potting soil. Perlite. And then mix. Mix. And once again. This is good. Okay. Kind of dusty. Make sure you do this where there's more airflow, especially if you're dealing with perlite. So either way, add some in there. Shake it. Shake the pot just so that the soil works its way around the roots or into the roots and everything. So with thicker roots, plants with thicker roots, I usually water a little bit halfway and then add a little bit more soil and then water and then shake it. But since the root system on this begonia is not really that extensive, I don't need to worry too much about that. Okay. So make sure you only leave it or cover the stem to where it was covered originally. You don't want to go any more than that. So here's the end result. Yeah, pretty simple. Nothing too fancy. So what I would do after this is water it, completely drench this whole pot just to make sure that all the water drips down from the bottom. I don't really have a good way of doing that right now, so I'll be doing it after this video. But yeah, now I would stake this up a little bit. I don't really have a stake right now, so that's another thing to consider. Just kind of stake this so this plant can stand up like that. It'll take a few weeks or so before it hardens off and is able to stand up by itself. But for now, this is done. And once again, I'll water right after. So if you have any questions, please give us a call or email me at info@theothersidenursery. Thank you very much.